Hey guys, I'm here with Conor McMillan of ThrivingMinimalist.com. Hello. And we've been living out of this amazing 19-foot Winnebago built on a Toyota truck for how long now?
Many months.
4 months? 4 months maybe?
Yeah.
4 months full-time.
Yeah, full-time.
And it's been amazing.
Incredible.
It's been incredible. And both of us actually recently did videos just explaining a little bit more about our living in this RV, and we got a lot of great questions back. So the purpose of this video is to answer your awesome questions and give you more information on how we've been doing it. So the first question is, where do we park and where do we not park?
Yeah, we kind of park wherever we want, as long as we're not going to get towed.
Yeah, that's actually been one of our favorite things. We don't tend to like to be in the same place for a while, so RV living really suits us.
Yeah.
And I know some people like to take their RV and park it in a trailer park or park it in somebody's driveway or on a property, and I think those are all awesome options.
Yeah.
We really love the element of being in a different space every day or every night. So we travel around, and we have some of our favorite spots here in Austin, Texas, which is where we've been for about a month and a half now. When we were in Rhode Island, we loved parking down by the ocean and waking up to the sound of the waves in the morning.
Yeah, and around Austin, there's just so many awesome places to park. There's all these nooks and crannies and streets, like Austin is being incredibly developed, and so there's these areas that are both being developed and like in transition. So there's condos here and vacant lots here, and they're really cool places to park.
Yeah, one thing I would say is in general we park on the street. We don't really park in parking lots because a lot of times parking lots have rules like you have to be out by a certain time, or it just seems more suspicious if there's an RV in a parking lot. But we park right along the side of the road, and our favorite spots are, like Conor was saying, these roads that like maybe are across from a condo that's being developed or a lot of apartments, and then there's like, you know, this open space that hasn't been developed yet. And we found they have these wide shoulders, which is great because you're farther off of the road. Yeah, and it's kind of like you look like you fit in. You don't look so conspicuous being by yourself, just this lone RV off.
Right.
We also got a question about where we park when we travel overseas. And this year we're going to be parking at Conor's parents' house in California, which is awesome.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it, I have a couple of videos with my parents on their vans that they have lived out of off and on. They both have Vanagons. So they're really into Winnie. They haven't seen her yet, and they're going to be so pumped when they get inside of her. So they begged us to leave her there, which was really cool.
So cool.
Yeah.
Last winter, I just left Winnie at the apartment complex I had been staying in Austin, Texas, because I still had a friend staying there. Where do we dump our tanks?
Yeah, we have been dumping almost twice a week. It's like every 4 days. And initially, when we were thinking about living in Winnie full-time, we did some research and tried to find dump stations around us, and there were several. But we ended up finding one that was free.
Amazing, actually. It's speaking of which, the way we found this is if there's an app you can get on the phone for RV dump stations, and we just searched that for Austin, Texas, and there's a wastewater treatment plant that allows RVs to dump for free, courtesy of the lovely city of Austin.
Yeah, so it's really awesome. We pull up there with all these other like tankers that are just literally full of sewage. And we just have this little teeny tank by comparison. These cute little guys. And so we have a great time doing it. It's a little bit outside of the city, but not by much.
It's like a 10-minute drive.
Yeah, so we just enjoy the whole process of it. We just make it part of our routine and have a lot of fun with it.
And when we were in other places, like when we were up north, we would dump at campgrounds or truck stops.
Yeah, in some states there are some rest stops that they have free dumping. What state was that?
That was Alabama. That was an amazing welcome center.
Yeah, and
we also went to a Cabela's once, which had a dump station. So sometimes they're free, sometimes they're $5, sometimes they're $10. There's some more upscale campgrounds where they're like 15 or 20. We have this great routine here in Austin now that we dump every 4 days, I would say. And then we go and we fill up our water at a gas station around the corner.
We throw out a little bit of trash if we have any. and fill up gas if we need it too.
Yep, and fill up our water jugs, our fresh water jugs for our drinking. We really like the whole routine of it.
Yeah, and I think in total it probably takes a little over an hour, maybe an hour and a half, but...
Yeah, maybe even less.
Maybe even less.
I would say less.
I mean, now that we have it down,
I would say it's like an hour.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So, I mean, it's nothing. Like, it's a really great part of our routine. We really enjoy it.
We really enjoy it, and we have it down where we both have our parts that we do, and
Right.
something I really enjoy during that time is cleaning up. So I'll scrub out the sink, the counters, the toilet, everything, get it really nice. So Winnie gets a nice deep clean every 4 days, which is so great, and it takes like 5-10 minutes, and I love doing
Yeah.
it. We both love cleaning. We fight over who gets to sweep the floor.
Don't sleep at all. Leave some for me.
Leave some for me. Another question was, where do you get fresh water? And that's where we get it, we get it at the gas station right now. A lot of times, dump stations, they'll also be near a freshwater source, so you can do that as well. We have the perfect size tank, I think, to be able to fit 4 days of water
Yeah.
in there, which is actually perfect. I don't think I would want the tanks going any further than 4 days because they would start to smell. And it's just like, it's not a big deal. 1 hour every 4 days to like clean and take care of our home. I think that's really minimal compared to what a lot of people do in like a standard house.
Yeah, agreed.
Where do we get our electric? So Winnie has 2 systems. Either we can plug her in and run off of the hooked up electric, or she runs off the battery when we're not plugged in. And it's a little more complicated than that, how she charges. The battery charges off the alternator when we drive, and it also can charge off of the electric when we're plugged in. And there's more details there, but basically, when we're not plugged in, we're running off the battery. That's how we get our electric.
Yeah.
Right now, we just basically have one battery that's always hooked up to the alternator and is always charging. We want to have more than one, but we don't necessarily want to put that extra load on the truck. So we're gonna go solar, which was another question. Are we gonna go solar? Yeah,
Definitely going to go solar.
we're definitely gonna go solar, and we have a couple of other ideas in mind.
Yeah, and I think by the time we get back from our overseas traveling, that's going to be one of our first projects.
For sure.
We don't cook, we don't even blend at this point, so we're not running any electronics besides charging our computers.
Yeah, it's just charging our computers.
Very
using
small lights.
The lights, which take very little, and then the water pump.
Right.
Those are the regular things we're using. We've been using a space heater here and there lately because it's getting a little chilly here. That's never going to be a real frequent for us either, a space heater or AC.
Or a cooling system.
Yeah, because we just that's part of the thing that we like about moving around is living in a really comfortable climate. We have a lot of friends here in Austin and other places that we've been traveling to, so between friends and family and visiting, we also plug in and hook up sometimes. So
And the random outlet we may find on the
Yeah.
street at different times.
yeah, for sure. So we run the space heater off of that. When we do that, it also recharges our battery.
So
Which Wi-Fi hotspot do you use? We use the hotspots on our phones. I have Verizon. Connor, you have...
AT&T.
We used T-Mobile before. I did have T-Mobile before, and there's advantages to all of them.
Yeah.
Basically, I think the best thing is to find a plan where you have as much data as possible. I share 18 gigs of data with my sister.
Which is a lot of data.
Which is a lot of data. Honestly, the only time we use a significant amount of data is when we're uploading videos to YouTube.
like this.
So when we do that, we just plan to be like at a coffee shop or a friend's house, or we use a lot of data.
And I do a lot of sessions during the week, as does Brittany. And whenever I talk to clients, often I use data on my phone, but sometimes I just park in front of coffee shops that we frequent so that I don't have to go inside and kind of have this weird atmosphere of trying to do therapy with someone in a coffee shop. But I can be right outside. I can get their Wi-Fi. I don't feel bad about it because I use them. I buy goods from them anyway. So... it's I think a really good situation to think about as well.
And it's not just coffee shops. We found our favorite supermarket has Wi-Fi, and there's a lot of other places around too.
Yeah.
How do you get your mail?
Good question.
That's a very good question. Well, so far they still won't deliver to our RV. We're trying. And I've heard of people who've tried to get, like, food delivered to their RVs, too. I think someday
I'm sure
it could happen.
Yeah, I think as more nomads are out there, they'll figure it out.
But for now, we just have a friend or a couple of friends we've used as hubs in Austin, where we are. When we were up north, we used my parents' home, my sister's home.
Yeah. For the most part, all of our bills and things like that are paperless. And I guess, quite honestly, we don't really have many bills. So the only things that we get shipped to us are things like off of Amazon that we might order.
Yeah,
and for that, you can
really
change the address as you go, and it's really easy to do that.
There are services that will provide that for you, though. I know, like,
That's right.
if you're traveling around, they'll go through, there's all different options, but there are ones that will go through your mail and figure out, what you want sent to you. They'll even scan it in, and you can decide if you want it sent to you or not, and then you can have an address that they'll forward it to.
Really cool services.
Really cool. When I've been traveling overseas, also, I've just used, like, a family member as a hub, which I think you do too, for the places that you do need to have a mailing address for. And then they'll either scan in or send me things that are important, which, like, rarely happens. It's like when I get a new debit card or something like that. When I was overseas, I found that I could just ship to the local post office.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
In
when
Costa
I
Rica
lived in Costa
Oh,
Rica,
neat.
and then I could just pick it up there. And I think that that's pretty common in a lot of international destinations.
Yeah,
You
that
can get
makes
it
sense.
shipped to a post office. Do you have a residence anywhere besides your RV?
No.
No, I mean, no.
We don't live anywhere else. This is our full-time gig.
This is it. Sometimes our residence is just our backpack.
Yeah.
That will be the case very soon. For now, it's just our RV. We do both have, like, residences in the sense that, like, Conor is a resident of California on your license.
Right, like on my license, my permanent address is my parents' house because that just makes sense.
Because you need one.
Because I know they're not going to move anywhere.
Yeah.
And you need one. Yeah, they require you to have a permanent residence, so.
Yeah, and same for me. My permanent residence is Rhode Island, and my sister, who's not going to move anytime soon, takes care of my mail and my other traveling sister's mail and all that kind of stuff. Another question was, do you have a house in Austin? So no, we don't have a house. We were both living at this circus house previously, which was a lot of fun, and I've rented apartments here. We've done a lot of different options, but right now, no, we just have the RV. How do you make money and travel to pay for camper insurance, gas, etc.? Okay, so I guess this is twofold, or maybe threefold. The first thing I want to say is that camper insurance is super inexpensive. It's super inexpensive because they figure, people just, like, take small trips in their camper. So I think
Right, that's true.
I think my insurance on Winnie is like $100 or $150 a year.
That's absolutely amazing. Yeah, because they generally calculate it by how much time you spend in the vehicle, and their assumption is that with RVs in general, you don't spend much time in them.
Right.
So.
Yeah, and gas and all those expenses, it really depends. Like, we don't spend that much money on gas regardless because Winnie is awesome on gas. But, you can really cater that too to how much you do want to spend on gas depending on how much time you're driving and how much time you're staying stationary. How do we make money to live in general? That might be the broader question, and we both run our own online businesses, and that's kind of where we're thriving. I guess that's the other part I want to say is I think some people turn to this lifestyle to cut corners and to be thrifty, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with anything. That just isn't what we're doing. We really have found this to be the abundant choice for us. We live this way because it's our preference.
Yeah.
And money-wise, I think we're both thriving and just always doing the best we've ever done.
Yeah, we're just following our passion and following our dreams, and I think every once in a while we'll get questions about how we make money or how we do this with the assumption that it's hard.
Right.
And it's the opposite. We find this way of life really easy. Money kind of flows along with the joy that we feel. And I think that that's really important when you're thinking about maybe starting your own business or starting to make your own money.
Yeah.
To choose something that doesn't have resistance for you. That's not going to be a struggle. We don't work anymore. We just play and interact with people, and we get paid for it. And I think that everyone can do that. I don't see that as
everyone can do that.
Yeah, a limited amount for a certain amount of people. It's totally open to you too.
And also, something I've really loved exploring the last few years, and Connor and I have gotten the opportunity to feel out together, is that it's all about energy exchange. Like, money is just like another form of energy exchange. So, for example, this past weekend, we went and we took care of all the food for this amazing acrobatics retreat that our friends put on for about like 30 people. And we had the most amazing time offering up our energy and our skills for it. And what we gained back was amazing. And it wasn't...
You can't pay for what we gained back.
And that's kind of how we do things. We decide to take on endeavors, you know, business endeavors or opportunities based on, like, does this excite me? Do I want to pursue it? And just knowing that everything we need is always flowing to us. It really doesn't have to do with, like, how much money is this going to earn me and will it be enough to pay the bills? And it's just like, that's not fun.
It's not fun for us. And I think for some people that is a fun way. You know, they enjoy thinking about things like in a more structured way.
Right.
And yeah, it doesn't work for us, so we don't choose to do it that way. And you don't have to either.
No, you can do it however you want.
However you want to do it.
We do have some structure. I love tracking a budget, so I always track my budget.
I love Brittany tracking our budget because I don't really want to do it, but I want like the outcome of that.
Yeah. I could do this, but I hate driving. Any similar ideas for people like me? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a great question.
You can do it and not drive.
Yeah,
That's
you can
one
do it and
option.
stay stationary.
Uh-huh.
You could build a really simple home.
You could have a tiny home. You could live out of a tent.
Yeah, you could get an RV that doesn't even have to, or a trailer that doesn't have a driving function and just gut it and do your thing. You could get a school bus. You could get a tour bus.
And there's always people out there with properties that really want you to come hang out on them. Always. All over the place.
All over the place.
For free or for very inexpensive or maybe for a work exchange.
Yeah.
If you have a good idea, just present it out there to the world and someone will pick up on it. So if your idea is to, you know, get a little camper and gut it and just not drive it and have it on a piece of property, present it to the world and someone will pick it up.
I think that's really it. Do you have any other things?
No, just that, you know, I think this way of life is totally accessible for anyone at any stage of the game. It's never too late. It's never too early. It's totally here for you. It is a very inexpensive, affordable, and easy way to live. And it also doesn't matter. I mean, I would live this life if it was the most expensive way to live, too. Because it's really fulfilling and satisfying for me.
Yeah, right on. I feel like it's totally ideal. I've never been more thrilled about
coming home.
about all of it.
Yeah.
I love living out of a backpack. I love living out of an RV.
Yeah, it's great to have the two.
It's great. They're both amazing. If you guys have any other questions, please do include them below. We're happy to keep answering them. Thank you so much for your interest and for watching us. If you haven't checked it out already, check out Connor's channel, Thriving Minimalist. Check out our Winnie channel, where we include more in-depth videos on RV stuff. It's still baby, but we're developing it.
Yeah, so give it some love and it'll encourage us to keep it going.
Yeah. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up. And I think that's it.
That's it.
We'll catch you guys later.
Thanks, y'all.
Bye, y'all.
Later, y'all.